Welcome back. At least welcome back me to the Rasslecast Power Hour. I am one of your tag team hosts of the best podcast, wrestling podcast that is, in the wrestling podcast business, Kellen Conley, aka B Hyphen. And before he gets too mad, we do have a guest, but I always have to throw it to my tag team partner, who I'm sure has a lot to say right now. Handsome Bane, how are you, sir?
What's up, sucker? You sellout ass having a daddy.
My father said he challenges you to a match whenever you're ready.
Oh my God, I can't wait to get that much heat. I can't wait. Absolutely. I might I might get Brock heat and smear the blood, We'll blade. I won't like hard way your dad or anything, but yeah, man, here we are, another week. And, shout out to Oroku Saki, aka the Shredder, for bailing us out last week because, like I said, my partner likes to. Anyway. Let's see. What do I say about you, sweaty marks, this week? The Alexa Bliss feet pick thing is always just evergreen. Like, it's like I just know because it's true. The best stuff to get heat off the crowd is stuff that's true. So for all you perverts out there looking up pictures of Alexa Bliss's feet, it's weird and you're the only one who does it.
Okay. So that's how we come in with Handsome Bane off the top rope, going for the Alexa Bliss feet picks again.
Sparkle Splash. I will never call it anything but Sparkle Splash. Whatever that.
Splash. As he throws around his multiple tag team belts in my face.
No, these ain't tag, man.
I'm sorry, his multiple solo championship belts in my face.
Unintentional, but appropriate.
Unintentional. We have a guest, though, ladies and gentlemen. We have a man who was just taken off the market. But let me tell you, he is not taken off the market as far as bringing you some audio whoop ass. Sorry, Stone Cold, had to take that to your ears. He has been in the broadcast game for a very long time. He is well known throughout the Pittsburgh area. He covers the Steelers, if you're into that kind of thing. We're not, but I mean, if you are, that's cool. He is an alumni of the prestigious West Virginia University radio station U92, The Moose. He is my friend. He invited me to his wedding, and I was there right in time for the nuptials. Mike the Buzzsaw Asti of the Howitzer and Buzzsaw Show is here, ladies and gentlemen. How are you, Mike?
I am doing well, Kellen. Appreciate that introduction. I also got to tell you that I enjoy the Alexa Bliss commentary as well, and I find that her relationship with Ryan Cabrera is the most random of all. Could you have imagined years ago when Alexa Bliss came onto the scene that's who she'd end up with? Nothing against him, more power to him, but I remember him from a decade ago and his little brief stint as kind of a pop star. I never would have figured, but more power to him. Hey, again,
and now
congrats.
He's a guest star on Miz and Mrs.
Yeah, congrats to him.
Oh yeah, the one episode of that I watched, I did see them on there.
With pink hair.
Yeah.
That's cute.
And I am off the market in general, but I am never off the market in terms of doing podcasts here for Kellen B Hyphen Conley. You did come to my wedding. I appreciate that. You took some nice pictures there. I don't know if to the level of the picture I took at your wedding, which is maybe the greatest picture of all. That's a money picture that people are ripping off. That's how great that picture was.
A lot of that going around, huh?
Yeah, and Kellen did tell me
the bargain.
Kellen did tell me he gave me a victory of the vows. Apparently, I won the vows. I'm not going to probably, I take many victories in life, and the marriage is one. But I'm, as Kellen probably can attest, you're not going to take as many wins in the marriage. I'm going to have to take some L's. And the best man did let me know that I no longer am going to be right all the time. I'm going to have to eventually not be correct all the time. So I do win the vows. That might have been my last W. So I appreciate that, Kellen. And My wife actually just the other night before getting into bed did the people's elbow out of absolute nowhere.
Nice.
So I was like, she's not even really into wrestling. She was when she was younger, but not as much now. And I was like, well, this solidified it. So if we weren't already married, you're the one.
That would have been it.
Yeah.
That would have been the moment if you hadn't already gotten there.
Hey man, be with somebody who is your brand of weird, because everybody is in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah. If you're not weird at all, you're boring.
Amen to that. So speaking of weird, Buzzsaw.
Yeah.
Will you tell us how you got into the wonderful world of professional? Wait.
No. I was just wondering. All right.
Go ahead.
No, I was trying to ride the wave of the I was trying to ride the wave of the segue there, but all right.
Just stepped all over. You know me.
I made a thing out of it. It's nothing. Don't worry about it.
Are you heel turning on your tag partner, or are you gonna hit him with an
I
RKO
am
right
the
now?
heel, though.
He's already a heel. You already
He's
know.
the heel.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I got two heels tonight.
Yeah, I don't know if Kellen told you. I've tried to not do the heel thing and have others told me you just can't not be the heel. You're just you're not nice enough, Mike, apparently.
we reviewed WrestleMania last year. It's fine.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, we did. Yeah. I think I was so much of the heel of that broadcast that it even got titled At least you're not hating as much as Mike or something.
It wasn't that close, but I think I was one of the ones I tossed around for sure.
Yeah, something like that.
All right, so my bad, Eric. So Asti.
Okay.
Once again, how did you get into professional wrestling?
Well, it's not a crazy story. It's probably a normal story. I did get into it watching with my dad when I was younger. So
all of these dads, man.
Yeah. But when I was younger, so probably, I don't know, 5, 6 years old. I mean, I remember from really, really young age. I don't know if he was into it in his whole adulthood, but he got into it because he knew I was getting into it, got into it from some friends who were getting into it, kind of jumped on board. And then it became something that we did together in terms of watching pay-per-views. So that was back, I'm old enough to say that was back certainly where you had to buy the pay-per-view, spend your $50, call the company, make sure you got the right cable to get it on. Not every cable company made that easy for you.
Oh, yeah.
I definitely recall him calling and sweating it out and try to get on the phone 2 or 3 times, make sure the pay-per-view can get on. So I do recall watching with my dad, many distinct memories of watching pay-per-views with him. It was something that we did as a bonding thing in addition to him coaching Little League teams. And unfortunately, my one burning memory of watching of 2 events that happened while watching pay-per-views with my dad. One was the King of the Ring where Billy Gunn beat X-Pac at the end, where X-Pac made the final and Billy Gunn won. And then the other, and I remember being upset because, as Kellen will attest, I was an Xbox stan at that time. Yeah. And then the other one, unfortunately, is when Owen Hart died. That was the other one. We were watching that one live, and I do recall him, explaining that situation to me. And he kind of even actually explained to me how wrestling worked in a way, because I remember being young, watching with him, and kind of ironic to where my media career went, but being heated mad at Triple H back then. Triple H, all-time heel, of course, at that point. And at that point, he was really getting into his heeldom, so he would become that after this. But I definitely recall getting mad with Triple H with the quote-unquote unfair victories and actually asking him, when will he win fairly, Daddy? Or when will he not be champion? Because that was, I think, 99, where he was champion for what seemed like forever. Right. And the only time that he wasn't, The Rock got a random roll-up to get a 3 count in a non-match that actually was covered on the morning shows nationally because it was so shocking that Triple H lost the belt at one point. But I just recall him kind of explaining to me the whole thing, that he was trying to be a bad guy. And I recall watching with him and watching pay-per-views with him, and then even Raw, and he was a lawyer, and having his lawyer friends come over and all sit with me. And I actually even recall once they came over to watch the NBA Finals. And of course, I'm into sports as well, and I've had a career covering, actual sports, but not that wrestling's not, but not sports entertainment. And them all being upset because I wanted to watch wrestling. I wanted to watch Raw. So he had to kind of change the channel for me and have me see some of it.
Aw.
But they were there to watch the NBA finals. So go back and forth to that. But I was more into wrestling at that point.
If it
so
was
just
late 90s finals, that's okay because the score was like 58.
yeah, it probably was either it was late 90s. Definitely my dad passed away when I was 14, so that would have, he passed, or I was 13 actually, so he passed away in the year 2000.
Okay.
To date myself, I'm 34 now. So
You're young.
that would have been I'm younger than Kellen. Yeah, am I younger than both of you?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll be the baby of the show then.
Fine.
But this was late 90s, so this either would have been either a good NBA Finals that I was stupid to miss and really being insulting, or a bad one. So it either would have been Jordan's last title with the Bulls in '98 over the Jazz after the back-to-back against the Jazz, or it would have been the Spurs beating the Knicks, where the Knicks were an 8 seed, and that was kind of a random finals.
I hope it was Spurs Knicks.
I'm hoping it was that one, but it was one of the two.
Yeah, I remember where I was watching that. I was at a friend's house watching the whole finals at their house, just like, oh, let's make it a tradition, and went over there, and it was like this really like dope female who I had like no intentions of being with. We were just like friends as hell.
Okay. Girls were still icky to me at that point. I think they still had cooties back then to me.
Oh well, no. Anyway, and then I just remember like, I was watching it with her dad. Like we were literally just watching. I was like, well, shit, I ain't got one of my own. Might as well go ahead and anyway.
Yeah. But then I just stayed with it and just stayed a fan all these years, and I definitely dipped in and out. But definitely, still stayed a fan, still keep tabs. And then, of course, thanks to the network, whether it's its own or on Peacock or wherever, or thanks to just YouTube and now the age we're living in, I definitely find myself dipping back into watching old school stuff and, listening to old school podcasts and hearing Bruce Pritchard and Eric Bischoff and all of them really dive behind the curtain to my childhood, because my childhood was the Attitude Era. And I can say it's not as good now as it was back then, but of course everything's different, so it's not really a fair comparison. But no, they're great memories watching with my dad, and having those memories it's cool now, even though some of them are bad, where you're having to remember where you were when Owen Hart died and that whole explanation and that live at I guess 13
Right.
so or 12 actually at that point, because that was a year before, so that's kind of a rough memory. But I saw he wasn't on your list yet. I was like, man, how do you not have Owen Hart yet on your list yet? He's not in the legit Hall of Fame.
Well, don't spoil it. But
I'm not gonna spoil it. I'm not gonna spoil it. I'm not gonna go there either. But.
Yeah, I mean, I just kind of had to make an executive order to get Brett on there last time. So it's just too many great names. It's pro wrestling. It's our it's our best form of entertainment. Like,
you could go deeper.
Yeah, if they were like, yo, take away everything but one, I'd be like, just leave me pro wrestling. Leave me all of pro wrestling that ever existed, and we'll just have to watch that from. That's the one thing we can watch. Like, guys, we're going to be fine. It's pro wrestling.
Not a bad deal at all.
It's not.
As long as you don't have to watch it on the cock, as Rick calls it. Retro Rick.
That's where you got to watch it now. I am subscribing. I did carry over.
That would be that would be like how like FX has FXX, where it's supposed to be, the slightly edgier channel. Like, that would be, like, why wouldn't they obviously call it the cock?
Make a Toto Bella's like show, maybe After Dark. I'm sure that would bring in some people. It's just funny for me. I kind of was surprised in the way, I get the money there, but I was kind of surprised in the way that Vince would just want to do his own damn thing. The WWE network and owning it and having it there and not sharing any profit. There's no percentage. It's just going in your pocket with the wrestlers. That would be what I would want if I were him, but I get what's going on. It's weird to hear Stone Cold like close out shows by saying "watch on Peacock." Like it doesn't roll off the tongue as well. Yeah, and it doesn't roll off the tongue as well.
Nah,
Yeah.
man. When I definitely took the network for granted. I mean, I had the plug for years, and I watched a lot of great stuff on there. But now that I can't get to it,
You hacked my network for a while.
yeah, absolutely. Now that I can't get to it as readily, and it's not as expansive as it was, it's kind of like, damn, I missed out.
I don't need to be scrolling through and seeing The Office while I'm getting stone cold. Like, just, you had your own
I haven't
thing.
seen any. I haven't looked at the network since it came to Peacock, except for pay-per-views. But
I haven't watched pay-per-view since Mania, so I'm way behind on stuff.
Okay.
Other than highlights, man.
Okay.
yeah, what was In Your House just happened?
Yep.
It was pretty decent. It was pretty decent.
Been a lot of good wrestling going around.
Yeah.
Oh, did you guys see how they just instantly repaired Samoa Joe?
Yeah. Yeah.
I did see that, but I was kind of
Jesus
happy with that
Christ.
because Snow
that's
came
what
in.
I'm saying, they repaired it.
Yeah.
You fixed it finally, bro. Like,
Well, they're doing more of what they should have been doing. I mean, he came in as a badass. He was a badass in TNA. He had that heavy thing where he came in during the Seth Rollins heel day, and then it just was basically got puttered away. It couldn't even been fun for the guy. So I'm happy to see that in a way. I'm happy to see him back. If I had to trade Braun Strowman for Samoa Joe actually as a badass, I would take it every day.
Yes.
every time. Yeah.
Every time. Sorry, bro.
Yeah.
Joe he just feels so legit. Like, even if you watch him on like up, down, down, and he's being goofy and he does the power game, and he's still like Joe always had it, but like when we're able to see like different sides of him, we're seeing that he has even more of it. Like, if you've ever seen him say, like, you know, you've been blessed by the power game, and he hits them like in video games, like, and he like taps them on the forehead so hard, it's hilarious. Like, Joe has facets, guys. Like, he can do.
Oh, he can do a lot. He can just be a beast, and then he also can talk, and he can be funny. And it's not even just the TNA thing that can be used an excuse why he didn't go anywhere in the WWE run, because AJ Styles certainly went somewhere. They allowed him to go somewhere.
Yeah.
So why not do the same with Samoa Joe, who was the other kind of face of TNA for a while, who hadn't been at that point to WWE. So yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
It's good to hear. Go ahead.
I was gonna say 8 out of 10 times main roster just fumbles the bag, man. Because NXT Joe was exciting, NXT Kevin Owens was exciting, NXT Shinsuke was exciting. Like, there's a whole list of people that had great runs, and then all of a sudden Aleister Black NXT was exciting, and they get to that main roster, man, and it's nice.
Unless they thought Samoa Joe was too much like Kevin Owens, like I could see, like, if they package him one way, that being kind of similar potentially.
Because they're nothing alike.
No, they aren't. But I could see if they go one way maybe. But I love Kevin Owens. I actually
had a
friend who
I mean,
looked
when
like
they
him
had
that
like
tried to
their
get
beef
together.
though, because like they had a quick beef for like maybe a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And it was very interesting. It's like, no, and then they kind of, I think they tagged a couple times out of mutual respect.
It's similar size guys.
That is such that's such a team for that. Where it's just like, oh, we've been beating the shit out of each other for 3 weeks now. Maybe we should tag. You know, and then they just, you know, but then they do it in NXT with Ciampa and Thatcher,
Right.
and, but that's because they do shit right in NXT. But you know,
Yeah, man.
trying not to complain here,
Yeah,
but
we are a positive podcast, despite the efforts of my tag team partner to bring me down.
Should I leave the show then? I don't bring much
it's gonna
positivity.
be tough.
You are,
I'm just glad to hear the Godzilla freestyle music come back, because you know I'm just glad to hear B-Boy Godzilla
yes.
come on every time Samoa Joe comes down the aisle, because it sounds like somebody's coming to beat your ass.
Yeah.
It's always like that's one of the most important elements of wrestling. Like, I know, you know,
the song for sure. Yeah.
well, I mean, just that, and you know, the threat of violence. You know what I mean? Like, it's, you know, I get it. I'm you know, I'm not Cornette. I'm fine with a lot of the flippy shit, but at the end of the day, it should feel like it's a fight. It should feel like these guys are going for something.
Your room's kind of close to his. I've seen his bedroom there on Dark Side of the Ring on some of those shows.
The thing about
he has more on the wall.
Yeah, but when it comes to my room, I'm the only guy in there with my wife.
That's correct. That's
in
accurate.
regards, yeah. But like I was saying, like, it's the same thing with like Arn Anderson. It's the same thing with, you know, Samoa Joe. It's the same thing with shit, Roman Reigns now, where you got to feel this presence of a person that's coming out there to kick your ass. Like at the end of the day, all of our problems are supposed to be solved with violence. That's the promise of this. And like, you know, it's cool to have flippy shit, obviously, but man, there's nothing like somebody that's really feels like they're coming out there to legit put hands on you.
Yeah. Well, that's what they thought they were doing with Braun Strowman, and that was the case for a while, but then it just didn't end up being. They just almost forced the beast thing. The personality isn't there as much maybe as they let it be. He actually has been. I've heard him on interviews. He can be funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just didn't work out. I mean, they also kind of flirt with marrying what our childhood was with you hear the fire and you know that somebody's going to get burned. There's going to be legit violence and darkness with Kane coming out there too, doing that and making you a beast, but not going to rated R because of what the company is today.
There's so many ways to do it too. You can
there's definitely ways to do it for sure. But yeah, I definitely think Samoa Joe. I'm happy he's back. I'm happy he's able to be a beast.
Did either of you see the quick video with him breaking up the fight between
he put Cole down.
Dog.
Oh, he can legit throw hands. Yeah,
it was so like I was sitting there, I was like watching it on IG, and I'm like, I'm low key getting emotional. Because he just looked. That's what he wants to be. He's like, dog, just put me on TV and have me be like, oh, this, this booth shit is fine, but like I should be breaking heads, like, or like when Kyle walks away, it was like, all right, you got it. You got that, OG. Yep.
Well, just think of who they put in the booth though over the years. They've all been beasts. It's almost like they're Taz. Taz ended up with arguably a Hall of Fame broadcast run, even though that was the man comes in, beats Kurt Angle, was a beast before that at ECW, looked like he actually could kick ass, and then ends up in a year or so jobbing to people, and then going in the booth, and then being a color commentator, and then of course way back Macho Man had to do that before going to WCW.
Don't forget that rich history began with one Gorilla Monsoon.
Right. Yeah.
Slated to be the baddest ass in the old day. Back when he went down to Charlie Chaplin's hootenanny bar and fought a guy like this.
I can bring up though somebody else that you brought up, not to hate on him, but if we're talking about podcasts, Arn Anderson, a beast, not able to be a beast on the podcast.
Oh man, Arn's like,
I love Arn, but come on. Even when I first saw that, I understand. I know Conrad wants to be the podcast guy, and everybody and their brother he's going to be having a podcast with, going to make money off of it. I'm all cool with it. But Arn isn't really Mr. Personality, and you're giving him a pod that clearly I've tried to listen.
That's crazy too, because his promos were incredible.
I know, but that pod is just boring. It's like he doesn't want to be doing it. It's like Dean Malenko stuff probably on there. No, if you go way back NWA, he can bring some personality, even though he was overshadowed by Flair, of course, like anybody would be.
But again, that's that whole thing of Flair can just yap about the clothes and the booze and the girls or whatever. At the end of the day, we're talking about all of our problems being solved in violence. And when this man tells you, when you send one of us to the hospital, we send two of yours to the morgue. Jesus Christ.
You want some emotional promos. Go back to even Attitude Era, Monday Night Wars, WCW. That man was crying in the middle of the ring. His pants are coming off, and he's giving you the full-on energy. It's almost like Ric Flair never had to act, because of course professional wrestlers, sports entertainers are actors as well. That's why they can translate to movies so easily. But Ric Flair was just being himself. The man wasn't acting.
He really was.
And back in the day, for anybody of his era, it's very likely that your wife was sharing a room with Ric Flair, just based on the numbers. Look at the percentage. Look at the numbers. Yikes. And I mean, it just had to be. It's just math. Man. It's just math.
That's a hard pass on that.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
speaking of going through the gauntlet.
Ooh, you beat me to it. Are we getting back on the same page, or are we still mad at each other?
Yeah.
That was a good segue.
I'm still mad at you. Do you want to go first? Or you want me to go first? Handsome Bane.
I have one really good one here.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask you, Asti, what is the best or your favorite bad theme song.
Bad.
It's got to be absolutely terrible.
Wow.
We did a whole
Man,
podcast about theme songs.
Man, theme songs are important. If you can have a great gimmick, if your theme song sucks, you suck. I remember back in the day with those albums, I actually bought a few of those CDs there with WWE Volume 1, 2, 3, 4, all those bad.
That's
man,
what I call
bad.
Music 59.
Yeah. Now, there you go. I think they're almost like on like 159 at this point. Honestly,
Bro, I had like the original, like the tape when you got them from out of the catalog, and they gave you exactly 1 minute of music.
Wow.
I had it had like Brett's on there, Hakushi. They had Yoko's music, 1, 2, 3 Kid,
Hey.
and
1, 2, 3 Kid. Wow.
yeah,
my
even
favorite.
like, and then they had it was Adam Bomb.
Adam Bomb.
Adam Bomb's music was on there, bro. And then but it was the same songs on each side. The tape was legit 7 minutes long. So shout out to being thirsty as hell as a kid wanting to have wrestling theme music.
Yo, shout out to Vince making
Yeah.
a dollar. So what you got there?
Ah, man. That is definitely a hard question for sure. Maybe I guess they just had to use this. You remember the faction of Ken Shamrock? Vince was in there briefly. They had the 2x4s, the Union or whatever that was.
Mhm.
That's definitely that
Oof.
was just that's one of the worst factions also. But I definitely could throw that in there. Maybe R-Truth. I actually like him. But that theme didn't really get it done for me. There were some bad theme songs of some guys who ended up with legit theme songs. You go to like the original Rock theme song before it became "If You Smell What the Rock's Cooking," and then went into the big one where after he went from Rocky Maivia. It almost sounds like a song where they didn't know what they were doing. It's like it's like they cut half the beat and then they were like, we don't know, so we're only gonna throw like a trial version up here, and then we're gonna play it for 4 minutes and see what's going down.
No, those are good. I mean, we can.
Then it's just like the regular of like TL Hopper and like all of like the bad wrestlers and horrible themes that have been out there. That's tougher. I can give you a whole list of the best theme songs, maybe some underrated theme songs.
Well,
I
that's
don't
why
know.
the question is best bad song.
Yeah, bad. That's probably it for bad, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. The one that popped in my head was Test's entrance music. I thought.
Oh, I don't mind that. See, I don't hate that at all. It just is test. That's what it is. Like I don't hate that.
I
Just say
never
test a
liked
bunch of
that.
times.
I mean, when they were legit pushing Test, like when he had the Stephanie angle and everything, and it's like, okay, you got this big badass coming out, and it's like Test.
He could have been more of a badass if they didn't mess with the Stephanie thing. I mean, I get doing that, but
They didn't
kind of
really
ruined
mess it up. I mean, not for Stephanie, it blew it.
Daddy, why does Triple H always win?
Right. Yeah. That was that same era, correct? Yeah.
No, he was burying guys in
I think the Raw that I was
burying a
watching
lot of things back
that
then.
interrupted the NBA Finals or NBA playoffs, I think it was the finals, was when Vince was exposed as the leader and became the corporate ministry, and he ended up being
me,
exposed,
Austin.
it was me all along. Like,
No one gets that reference when I do it. It makes me real sad.
No, I got
So,
it. Kellen, if you're gonna bring that up, though, I got one question there on bad theme songs. 'Cause
Okay.
this is what some think is a bad theme song, but I don't hate this either. And maybe this is weird that I wouldn't mind this theme song. But do you like or do not like, both of you, the Mr. Ass theme song? When Billy Gunn had the legit Mr. Ass theme song, because that's on a lot of lists of bad theme songs.
Fucking hated it.
No.
Bro.
I didn't mind that. I like the beat.
Fucking hated
I
it.
never in my life.
And I was like, if you're coming out, that's fine. That's fine. I don't know exactly.
Coming out. He would then have a gay marriage on TV.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm also using hindsight being 2020.
That was after that, but yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It was just like, what are we doing here? This is like bluegrass. What are we trying to get at with? I mean, not even the lyrics. I'm just saying, like, as far as like just the melody.
See, the melody
it was
and beat
just
I didn't
so
mind.
bad.
Another one that's my bad theme song, I'm going to put down an Al Snow.
What does everybody want?
Yeah, like
That
I
one?
yeah. I get what they were doing there, but like that was just too much.
It was like all a vibe. It was only a vibe. I'll give you the best worst. Do you have one, Hyphen?
I just gave you test, remember?
Yeah, you said test. All right, I was just making sure.
Okay, no, I don't have another one.
Because this is the one that's going to win. It is a very garbage song, but it is an earworm that if you hear it, you're going to be singing it for the rest of the day. It is Scotty Riggs and Marcus Alexander Bagwell, American Males theme song.
Wow.
If you want something that you're never going to get out of your head, that.
I low-key remember me like
American Males. American Males. Dog, wait a minute. We got to do this because.
Oh man, I don't think I've heard it since I was watching it as a kid.
You're gonna be singing this shit for the rest of the night. I'm sorry, but if you've ever and lyrics like WCW always wrote like whole ass, like they were really trying to like get them over.
Yeah. Either that or they would buy the songs for Hulk Hogan.
This is like right before.
Once an episode.
This is like right before they were like, yeah, let's just flat out buy songs. There you go, dog. Chippendale's ass.
See, this isn't bad right now. I'm okay with this.
No.
Okay,
that's what says the best bad. It's the best bad song.
Yeah, it sounds like a video game basically. This is like Sega Genesis right now. Oh my god. It's like a techno version.
This just sounds like.
Yeah, that's the dance to it. See, the only way that would have been better is if Bagwell was singing it, because that was around the same era where WWE was very willing to have their wrestlers sing it, and in fact force them to sing it. Shawn Michaels didn't want to sing; they made him sing. And then of course Cena later on, and Sherry singing. Yeah, so that was a nice era when you have the wrestlers sing. But
so they weren't doing that. But just like it's terrible because it's like, it's like 90s. Oh my God, I can't believe they used to do that terrible. And like, it's not a bad song when you put it.
Sounds like an 80s song almost.
It's definitely like a what's the skit? The Chippendale skit with
Chris Farley?
Chris Farley.
Yeah.
Patrick Swayze. Yeah.
You would be 10 out of 10. You'd be the winner if your body wasn't so bad.
Right. So it's American Males. Also, honorable mention for A Man Called Sting.
I thought
Same guys.
We're gonna go with.
Yeah. It's so bad that it's amazing.
Shout out to RVD too.
It's on here.
Oh, you don't like that? You're not down with that song?
No, as a bad
song. Oh, no.
Oh, gotcha.
We're talking about the TNA version.
Oh, okay.
Listen to
drop that down! Oh, fucking kill!
It's so aggressive, Doc.
And he's not an aggressive guy. He's high all the time.
Right.
He's not throwing hands with anybody. You meet him on the street, he's going to be...
That song was made by someone who's been on a Viagra trip for like 5 days.
Right.
We need Screaming Steve to come on here and sing this song. And be like, all right, now, Steve, when you yell this song, we just don't rip off your skin again. Like, he's like that kind of guy. It's just like, God dang. Yes, those are great bad songs. All right, well, second question.
Okay.
In the gauntlet.
Second question in the gauntlet. This is inspired by WCW being brought up. Who is one of your favorite WCW wrestlers when they were not in the NWO? Like, think of a run when they weren't in NWO that you enjoyed.
So is it somebody that was eventually in the NWO?
Everybody was in the NWO.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's like DDP and Ric Flair, basically.
Right. So most people have been, but I mean, a time when they weren't in the NWO and you enjoyed their work.
Okay. Well, the dude was in the my favorite WCW guy, my favorite WCW personality would be Scott Hall, but obviously in the NWO the whole time. Probably maybe Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig, having Kurt just in general, him being just I loving him in general, feeling like he's one of the most underrated. Even when you bring up pure wrestler, even just as that guy who can kick your ass at any time, and just also being a mechanic, I feel like he's one of the most underrated in history, really. And honestly, it's not even so much
100%.
just his craft, but even when you go to the dark side of the ring and podcasts and talking about it in popular culture and media now, he doesn't get brought up as much. They're doing shows on Brian Pillman. They're getting him brought up, and he's been dead since 95. Mr. Perfect lived to the early 2000s, and he's not. I feel like people that are 25 or under probably don't even know nearly enough about him or feel like he's legit Hall of Famer. They're probably, well, he's an IC champion for a little bit, and he was in some, was in a faction, and he never talked, and that's it. But that's not nearly the story of Mr. Perfect. So probably, obviously, he was Kurt Hennig in WCW. Probably Kurt Hennig and just him as a wrestling clinic machine prior to that stint in NWO 2000. I think he was in that period.
I hate rap. Rap is crap.
Yeah, hate rap is crap. That was, I liked that whole gimmick. Actually.
It was cool.
That run with him I thought was cool because they're playing off of his personality. They were able to bring in a little bit of mainstream involved with that as well. I think WCW doesn't get enough credit for involving mainstream and having success, and the mainstream guys actually being able to do it in the ring, like maybe more so than some others at WWE. But yeah, probably Kurt Hennig.
Okay, solid answer. Handsome Bane.
It's really hard to choose.
Especially out of the NWO.
Right. Everybody's fucking there.
That's why it's a good question.
Man. I guess I mean to buy me some time. I like Scott Norton the most when he was in NWO. Thought that was pretty cool. As buff and tough, that's fucking great. To bring up Marcus Alexander Bagwell again.
Shout out to Buff, man.
Yeah, I never was feeling Buff. I never was feeling Buff Bagwell.
The whole time he's in WCW, I liked him. Okay. I don't know why, man.
I was more of a Scott Steiner dude at that point.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I liked when he beat up Bagwell randomly.
Let's go. I mean, Harlem Heat book. No. Okay. Nope. My favorite book run is WWE.
But you could still have him be your favorite WCW dude. But
Big Papa.
He's one of the few that actually enhanced his Hall of Fame career and had a better WWE run.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, King Booker makes me put everything else away.
That. I watched his doc recently, actually.
It's pretty good. Man, somebody who should have never been in the NWO to begin with. To say that he had to join the New World Order, baby. 260 pounds of blue-eyed foe, wink, wink.
Yeah, that's crazy that he was in the NWO. Right. Like, people forget that probably, which is good.
Why?
Yeah, it's good they forget. Yeah.
There was no reason for the Dream to be in the NWO. What the hell kind of sense did that make? There was no point in me being in there ever, baby. So,
they never should have put the Giant in there either.
They should have. Well, I mean, he was green as grass.
I know he was, but he was already a champion and against them prior to that.
Well, yeah, that's just because they was trying to, they was just trying to repeat the 80s, baby.
Yeah.
1987 happened a very long time ago, and they thought it was gonna make money. Like I said, the boy was green as goose shit, and they put him in there and won the title in his first match. That's crazy to me, baby. But anyway,
it's crazy. Yeah, it's happened before.
I would rather see Dusty in polka dots than in black and white, baby. It just didn't make no goddamn sense.
Get some Dusty Rose memorabilia. I saw Booker T was trying to hawk his NWO shorts from his tights from his brief WWE NWO appearance that everyone forgets about as well.
There's like super rare, yeah. That's a very interesting show too. So I mean, to answer your question, Marks, it is Dusty Rose, man. Like, come on, dog.
Yeah,
they shouldn't have been in there ever.
Yeah, that's a great one.
They were really throwing anything at the wall at that point.
It was pretty early
care about
too,
Dusty.
Dusty was in there. Dusty was in there within the first 2 years, I feel like.
Right.
Yeah, that was after they started losing the ratings though, because I was not watching it anymore.
I could have said Jeff Jarrett as well, even though obviously he came from WWE and a lot of it was in NWO. But I like Jeff Jarrett as a singles champion towards the end of WCW, hitting people with guitar. I actually was down with it. I know that it wasn't his best work, and he doesn't like talking about it. But
he could make amazing heat as a heel.
I think he's very underrated historically as well.
Yeah,
I can tell you as someone who won a spelling bee, spelling all of the words like Double J Jeff Jarrett, it gets heat. I've mentioned this before, but we were doing double consonant words. The whole spelling bee was all double consonants. And I kept spelling shit like Jeff Jarrett. And it was getting on their nerves.
Could have brought up some of the songs with the roadie back in the day, or maybe some bad songs out there.
I remember listening to My Baby Tonight, like, oh shit.
Yeah. He's still complaining they didn't put enough of those out and that they didn't do enough with those songs back then, and he would have stuck around at that point because he jumped ship a couple times.
He jumped ship like so much. The giant face turned and he left companies and went back like so much in that era, man. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Boy, oh boy.
All right.
Yeah.
So my answer to my favorite WCW run that was not when they weren't in NWO would be Dean Malenko.
Wow.
Man of 1,000 holes.
Jesus, that's how out of touch I am. I mean,
can you remember a sentence that he said?
Not a damn one, but you know how many matches he won and how good he looked on his 1,000.
He was really, really good. Absolutely.
Like, bro, he was in peak condition and he had no mic skills.
Couldn't speak
Very
at all,
limited.
dude. Like all his friends could talk too. Like, what was he doing when they were hanging out? Like, he must.
He'd walk in just like this.
They used to play the old Batman music or something.
He'd been balding since he was 21.
He was holding on in the 90s.
Looked like he was 45 at 21.
Yes, he did.
Looked just like Boris.
And he had to have been 20 at some point because he's not 80 now. So if he's like 60 now, he was like 40 then. And then like prior to that, he was starting at 20, but he looked like he was 45.
But I always popped for Dean Malenko, man. When he was feuding with Jericho, he's feuding with Mysterio, whoever he was beating with.
Mysterio
matches. I don't know if anyone's popping.
Bro, this is the greatest shit I've ever seen in my life.
Yes.
The Mysterio matches was just like, he's trying to kill that small man, dog. Like, he's such a bully. Like, you didn't do this against Arn Anderson last week.
You look up.
Or was Sean Waltman back then as 6?
6. You look up Ruthless Aggression. The picture of Dean Malenko used to be in there until Vince bought the picture to put like John Cena in there. So
wait. Was when Rick Rude came back and when he was on WCW, when he was on Raw and Nitro on the same night,
right?
Was he in the NWO? I'm just trying to remember if he was.
Was he in the NWO and DX simultaneously then?
That's what I'm asking, because I feel like they brought him in on some NWO shit. Because
I think, basically he was on the Raw when he was still part of DX, but then the same time that it was on TV, because that was taped obviously, was when he was with the NWO and they were talking about we welcome Brett, because that was after the screw job, and Brett didn't show up yet, but they're waving the Canadian flag. So I think in terms of a broadcast, he was the only guy ever to be in DX and the NWO simultaneously on air.
That sounds right. I think I've heard that.
I think that's correct. Yeah.
Yeah, I know all of that. I'm just trying to make. I gotta know. Because if
that's correct.
It says Rick Rude joins NWO. Yeah, well then, it's Rick Rude. Yeah, that's I forgot the fuck Dusty baby. Sorry, but it's gonna be Rick Bratherton, Rick Rude. That Dangerous Alliance era where they fucking basically incubated a Stone Cold Steve Austin for you, like where you go back and watch and like look at all of his influences in there.
Oh yeah,
because you had Bobby Eaton. That's who I'm starting with. You had beautiful Bobby Eaton in there, like beautiful. Arn Anderson, Larry Zbyszko. All right.
I feel like Dean Malenko should have been Arn Anderson if he could have had a personality.
It was there. The seeds were there.
Dean Malenko.
Or if Dean was able, they should have gave Dean the Stone Cold gimmick that they originally wanted to give Stone Cold prior to letting his personality pop, where he just was Stone Cold the serial killer. Oof. That was like the idea for Vince.
The Iceman.
So that could have been that could have been Dean, I guess. But Dean,
Dean
yeah, he looks like he could have been
Malenko.
Arn Anderson's child, honestly. He looks
Dean
enough like
Malenko is the wrestler that Larry Zbyszko thought he was.
right.
Yes.
Yeah.
They have the same amount of body hair.
It just hit me. Larry Zbyszko swore he was like
Nice.
a threat. If you listen to him on commentary, he'd be like, Larry Zbyszko, you swear you beat everybody ass. Sit down somewhere, bro. But that incubator that gave us Stone Cold Steve Austin with, you know, Arn Anderson's promos, Ravishing Rick Rude,
The big handheld phone, yeah.
Medusa, Paul, like, dog, that's
That was a squad, man.
Rick Rude.
Hell of a squad.
Maybe most underrated faction ever, honestly, and that's obviously one that's never going to be put in the Hall of Fame as they are, probably, but probably won't be. But that's maybe most underrated faction. I mean,
If they want to get Stone Cold in there twice, they'll do it.
there's no other way to get Stone Cold in there twice, I guess.
What are they going to do?
Hollywood
Two-man power
Blondes.
trip?
Yeah, they could. No, I think that would be if they
That
if
puts
they
Triple
want
H
to
in there
throw
3
some
times,
dap to
though.
Pillman's family, they would do the Hollywood Blondes. Then Stone Cold would go up there and cry and talk about the necklace that Pillman gave him in the mid '90s.
That was a good ass. Dark Side of the Ring, though.
That was good. That was 2 parts. Yeah,
That shit-
If they want to do that and they want to give dap to Pillman, whose career got too cut short, probably to legitimately have a Hall of Fame resume, but probably would have been that. That would be the only other way. But that would be legit paying homage to WCW. And granted, they put Sting in. They've done that in the past.
I mean, dog.
I don't know. I feel like they don't need to put Stone Cold in again.
Everybody else gets in twice. The Rock's going to go in with the Nation at some point.
Yeah, there's going to be some guys in there 3-4 times. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's getting a little ridiculous. Yeah, like you're in. But I think Ric Flair's going to start getting mad once they doing that and being like, hey, I was the first 2-time Hall of Famer. I got to get in there again. Find me another way. Now I'm in there 3 times with Evolution as well, but I got to get in there.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, didn't he in there 3 times? Jesus.
He's in there 3 now, yeah.
What a mark! What a mark for himself.
He is a mark for himself. That's
Yeah.
why
He put me in that Hall of Fame, baby. I'm like, all right. Go home,
Oh
Rick.
man, Bane.
Brett's in there twice now.
Yeah, it's your question.
Deservedly so.
This has been a great
The
gauntlet
dog.
so far.
Oh, damn. I guess we should just do kind of a lightning round then.
I said it was great. I didn't say it was a long gauntlet, but okay.
I mean, you know, you mentioned it. I didn't put my book
Ruining
away.
things. There it goes.
I've actually
Kim's
dropped my
messing
book.
up again.
There it is. All right, no, it's all good. Worst faction you liked?
Wow.
I know.
Worst faction
making-
by like who's maybe it wasn't a bad faction. Worst faction that I like.
NWO.
Okay, I got one. This is a bad faction, but I liked it because this is the only time my guy was able to be a leader of a faction. X Factor. When when X-Pac was leading a faction for like
Jeez.
6
Remind us
months.
Who was in X Factor with him, please?
Yeah, that was Just Incredible, and I believe Prince Albert.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh.
See, I was pulling this out. This is totally off the cuff that I'm able to remember this even. That was also another bad theme music because they had that.
That's
Kid
a
Rock.
good pull.
They had that slow Kid Rock song.
Oh, they had
Like it wasn't even like the X-Pac came out of DX. He's a 2-time Hall of Famer because of badass factions in the NWO and DX. He just previously had Rage Against the Machine on freaking theme song, and then he's turning around, and this is obviously years later in a different type of era, but he's getting slow melody Kid Rock with an action called X Factor. Dude got a big Prince Albert body hair all over his body, just incredible, dancing all over the place, and obviously a bald head that's glaring off into
body hair
the
heat.
lights. And then it was just the weirdest collection. And I know that X-Pac and Just Incredible are friends in real life, but to the fan, it just made no damn sense. And it didn't get to go anywhere, but it was nice that X-Pac was able to be a leader of a faction when he obviously was a sidekick for so many years. But I was rooting for that because I liked him. So that would be a bad faction that I was down with.
Wow. Go ahead, Hyphen.
I'm pulling it up now because I don't remember everybody who was in it, but it's a group from TNA.
You thought I wasn't going to get all 3 guys, didn't you? You thought you were going to stump me.
No, I honestly didn't remember.
Okay.
I trusted in you, Asti. Okay, so this is a group from TNA, and it consisted of Kurt Angle, Sting, Kevin Nash, Booker
I got
T,
you.
Oh my God.
Scott
I like that
Steiner,
too, actually.
Christian Cage,
Yeah.
Samoa Joe, and don't forget Tracy Brooks, the main event Mafia.
Tracy Brooks.
Ugh.
I like that. I like that too. That was almost like, yeah, you're all
Yo,
champions.
I don't know what it was because it's like, I mean, at this point, this is before. I mean, we were already saying all these guys are washed aside from like Angle, and that's it. Maybe Christian.
Hey,
at this point,
I mean,
and Joe,
that's
and Joe.
not every faction has pretty much across the board Hall of Fame though.
That's true. I mean, this is a tough team, but I mean, it was. I know they dominated there for a little while it was a TNA storyline, of course. So it was a big deal for TNA. But obviously, you look at that on paper, and it's like, hey guys, let's just all get together and collect checks.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Yeah.
So I enjoyed watching the main event Mafia. They had some legit, interesting things happen.
And Sting in a faction doesn't do it for me. He needs to be by himself.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
I
Yeah,
can
that's-
see that as well. So that's my answer: is the main event Mafia.
Ugh. They're supposed to be
It's a
great
bad
though.
faction.
The idea of that was absolutely to be all these Hall of Famers to be great. You're gonna hate them because their resumes
they
are
thought
what
they had a
are.
slam dunk and that shit was
Yeah.
trash.
Yeah.
It's like when they decided to put peanut butter and jelly in the same jar and like they was like, huh?
Like how lazy you gotta be?
Huh?
Get a knife out, scoop them. Yeah, you don't need
put
to
my
have
Like,
them in the
yo,
same
we
jar.
we
yeah.
we made this goober shit.
Ketchup and
dog.
mustard in the same jar.
What
No,
you know
man.
about that? Yeah,
It's just
with
lazy.
y'all lazy asses.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's trash. That's such a bad one.
It is.
I don't know, man. I think right to censor, bro. Like
Okay.
it got the heat that it was supposed to get.
It probably was more successful than the other two because it did get the heat that they wanted.
It did exactly what it was supposed to do. It was supposed to piss you off. Like when, and I mean, I loved Ivory, but like that didn't seem too much out of her character. But then
Yeah.
when we got the Good Father, bro,
Yeah.
when we got the Good Father, I
Yeah.
felt legit
They
betrayed.
took Val
like,
Venus away from us, man.
oh my god, yeah. Well, Val was a fucking pervert, dog.
Well, yeah,
Like,
Val's a bird.
it was like
But he
that
was
shit-
Val Venus. That was okay. Like
Yeah,
that's
it
the
was-
gimmick.
But at the
I just
time-
remember like
He lived his gimmick, but that was like right around the time where they're basically telling you, "I'm sorry, we're gonna turn all your rated R into really PG and ruin your
Yeah,
childhood."
yeah,
This is what they were doing, but we got the stock market to worry about.
Yeah,
Yep.
bro. When Good Father came out there, dog, I was like, not you, bro. Not the God, bro. Like
Hey,
it was that
There's
was one
the
of
O
my
train, yeah.
yeah, that was one of my favorite gimmicks, dog. Is just coming out like offering you the logical choice of like, dog, we're about to go party. You want to party or do you want to get beaten up by a large man? Or even if you can beat me up, like it would
Yeah.
be like there's no benefit to this. Like it's like the gimmick. He was the most logical man in the locker room because he's like, dog, I have women who are willing to party with us. You want to wrestle one of them or me?
Yeah, we can get girls. Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
no.
It don't gotta be
And
this
every
way.
time. And it was like, why didn't they always take that? Like, it was no title on the line. It was just like, we just, you know, all
we
right,
just having
yeah,
a match on
yes.
TV, dog.
We just, I'm out here. Hey, mom, I'm on TV. I'm about to get the shit.
That's one of the
kicked out
factions
me.
where there's no point to it because usually a faction would either try to promote somebody and bring them up, like Evolution with Randy Orton and Batista, or you'd have a bunch of great guys, and then you have one clearly at the top with DX when Triple H was running that DX army, or even the Horsemen, where it's still about Flair as champion, but it's legit Hall of Fame talent together.
Mhm.
And they're in storylines. They're all like, that's another great thing for a faction. You need to have everyone in something, whether it's collective, the top guys, the champ, or you have even the undercard guys, mid-card guys in storylines too. You still got to be in a storyline. That was something where it was just, there's no storyline individually. It's just collectively, and it's mid-card in general, and no one cared.
Undisputed
that was-
Era. They
Yeah.
did that pretty well with them, I thought.
Yeah.
So I completely get it. But yeah, shout out to the Godfather, man, for
And shout out to the Good Father for getting the heat, getting what he was supposed to do.
yeah, but
Because sometimes Vince has to take a piss.
Yeah.
People make him upset, so he has to
Not that I liked it, but you
Do the
remember
thing.
when they stuck Lance Storm with Edge and Christian, and they had everyone from Canada in like this like really poor man's version of what they were doing with the Hart family a decade earlier, and
Yep.
it was just
goodness.
yeah, and it was
From
you
Calgary,
had Edge, you had people with
Alberta,
personality,
Canada.
and they were brought down by Lance Storm, who for some reason can bring a personality to Twitter, but could not bring it to a microphone.
Yeah.
It's a learned
Yeah,
thing.
it was tough. Cause I'm from Calgary, Alberta, Canada.
That was a bad era for factions. That was like all around the same time.
That's because
And then they don't
everybody
ju-
had to
they-
have a faction.
Yeah,
guess.
but now they just don't. This is like,
Right.
yeah, you know what? Nah,
Eh,
we're not gonna do it anymore. People who should be probably in a faction, but we won't do it.
I
Yeah,
mean,
all right.
why? I mean, New Day obviously works with the three of them, but I really thought New Day was going to be this.
Oh, I
big,
thought that'd be
big
trash.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that'd be nothing. I don't think that was an accident. They didn't
Well,
nearly
no.
think New Day was going to be what it was.
I don't think the New Day. I mean, I didn't think. Well, I don't know what I thought at the time. I thought they were going to do a New Nation Domination. Is what I thought. I thought the idea of the New Day, especially how they're recruiting each other at first. I thought it was going to be a larger faction, like maybe 6 members,
Okay.
and it ended up just being the 3 of them. And
I honestly thought it was going to be the 3 of them, but go nowhere. Because when early on, it was kind of religious, and they had like a Bible music, or like it didn't appear that it was their personalities just wouldn't let it be that, and they had to have
Yeah.
it be great. And I actually worked for a TV station, and a couple of my friends and I, we would do the New Day clap just out of nowhere in the newsroom, and nobody knew what we were doing. But it became a mainstream thing that I don't think they nearly thought it would be
oh no way.
initially.
Well, yeah, I remember thinking they were gonna be like the New Nation, and like because we hadn't had anything else that like worked, and by we I mean black folks, just to be
Yeah.
clear.
Like they couldn't
Yeah.
do the nation now, though. They would get criticized.
Right. I was
Like that would be like
thinking that-
racist now. Like,
You know, no, what's funny is like if you go back and watch like clips from like Phil Donahue and stuff where they're like people out there that the nation was mimicking, and you watch it and you're like, no, they were right. It's just
Yeah,
like and you
wow.
see like all the horrified
I mean,
white folks
Farouk, like,
this,
yeah.
like yeah, it's a whole bunch of stuff where like, you know, again, the thing is to be a credible heel where you're saying like things that people had really done, and then you know, like you're like, well, you're an asshole for making us feel bad about it, and it's like, no, you guys suck. And
And you randomly had Owen Hart there, like
right, exactly.
Owen.
Yeah, guys,
Like-
we're pretty bad.
Barbecue.
yeah, that's a wrestler who doesn't fit a faction, if that's ever a question. Is somebody who was great on their own but didn't fit what a faction he was put in with. Like,
Well, other than
Our
our foundation, yeah.
foundation
Yeah.
was fucking great.
oh, true,
But yeah, I remember like writing into, I forgot who it was. I don't know if it was PWI. It was somebody where they were, you know, talking about, well, why do they have to be angry or, you know, whatever. And I remember just at the time, because that's all I remember us ever having as like a credible gimmick that's going to get on TV and get some time, was to have like angry black men. And I was just like, dog, you're going to have to let us have this one. And then, you know,
Yeah.
like seeing how it worked out and seeing how they did it their way, I was so glad. I've never been so happy to be wrong.
yeah.
where-
Well, then you had The Rock, though, be what he became, obviously a legend, but then
Right.
identify more as Samoan.
Right, which, you know, whatever, that's his thing. But as far as like with New Day, New Day especially, I felt seen. Like, you know, they weren't trying to
Well,
be
New Day, I'm glad that New Day
and shit
did their
like
thing
that.
and had that success, because right before that, you had Crime Time in the middle in
Right.
terms of like
Yeah.
an all.
Like, I went to college, bro. I'm still paying for my bachelor degree. So
Right.
it's like I want some other guys that also went to school and also, you know, just did it their way and didn't necessarily have to carry a gun or live in, you know, I mean, well, you know.
You can tell New Day had a group text and they legit got together and said to themselves, this gimmick, this faction sucks. We're not
Yep.
going to let it suck. We're going to make something out of this. And if New Day did, it's almost really underrated for what that did, even in general, to the world. Because if
Yeah.
New Day was allowed to suck, which was supposed to be what it was, and if New Day did not get together and make that something, Kofi would never have been champ.
Oh, absolutely.
Mhm.
And then you never would have had somebody looking like him being a champion as a single WWE champion, not world champion, what we had with Mark Henry and others and King Booker and all that, but not even The Rock identifying as both, which is cool for his heritage, but that's legit. I remember Kellen, I think we were on a podcast. You almost cried about this. I mean, that was how cool that moment was.
Yeah.
That would have never happened if New Day didn't have the success prior. And it really feels like they got together and
Oh yeah, definitely.
early on, they just nerded out and were like, how can we do this? How can we take it? And that might have
they
been
were definitely
accidental.
on
I don't
one
know if they
accord.
foresaw that, but
Yeah.
that would never happen if Vince got his way and what the script was.
They also say like Vince legit thought like the happy clapping shit was gonna catch on. Like they say he was like shocked that corny ass preacher's gimmick didn't work. Like he was like legit like, bro, I thought they would dig it. Like what the fuck? They're booing you. What is going on? Like and you let us rock.
And then we'll just pass out some pancakes and we'll be faces.
They got pancakes over, dog. Like
Yeah.
that's the other. They just got shit over, and it was just like, well,
I mean,
if they
Kofi
can
had
just get
pancakes
everything
the
over,
entire
then
run
fine.
as WWE champion, he kept the pancakes.
They were so popular, they got over a sex tape. They got over injuries. They got over a scandal. They allowed themselves to have the first African-American WWE champ who's
hosted
legit
WrestleMania.
identifying as that
Let's
as
not
a
forget
single. I mean, man, like they should have their own doc that should be put on CNN. I mean, they did a lot.
Yeah, when it's all said and done, yeah.
That's
When
a Hall
it's
of
all
Fame
said and
group.
done,
They need in as a group
Yes.
at some point
Absolutely.
for that.
100% agree.
All right.
All right. So,
Well,
I think that's the
shit.
gauntlet.
Since we're talking up, since we're here,
Okay.
you know, we've driven up to the door of the Hall of Fame.
Kellen.
Knocking at that door.
Okay, I did get the list earlier. There's some guys that I would have put on there if they weren't already in. That's a money list. Some of my favorites are on that list. I mean, Macho Man, Kevin Nash, definitely.
Well, actually, I should read it off right now.
Go ahead.
You-
Yeah, I
you
wanna
sure get everything.
Go ahead.
So again, all of these guys are already in the hall. These guys and gals, I should say.
Okay.
The DDP, Undertaker, Kevin Nash, D-Town Kevin Nash, MJF, China, Shinsuke Nakamura, the Sensational Sherry, Savannah Summers, Mick Foley, The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, Mr. Perfect Kurt Hennig, Randall Keith Orton, Shawn Michaels, Randall Poffo, Nikolai Volkov, Rick Rude,
Randall Papa.
the British Bulldog.
That was not bad. That's not bad.
That boy did crack before his biggest match ever. Triple H and Bret the Hitman Hart.
Remember when British Bulldog came back and just wore blue jeans in a program with Triple H? It's just like that British Bulldog. Then he died, I think, a year later.
Jesus.
Like it was like his one song was wearing blue jeans and losing to
If
Triple H.
only he knew.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Damn it. All right.
only
So
he knew.
now, Mike Asti, we are ready for your inductee.
Okay. All right. Without any further ado,
Good job,
and there's
Bane.
some great legendary names there. They've all had an impact one way or another. I think Kellen knew I had to go here because nobody else is gonna go here. He's already been brought up on the show. He's currently a two-time WWE Hall of Famer, but not yet in as an individual. But he's gonna be here in this one. That's Sean Waltman.
All right. Hell, we'll do it. We'll take Mr. Go Away Heat himself.
Yeah, and I will say, Sean Waltman, one of the most underrated light heavyweight type wrestlers ever. Without him, you wouldn't get the segue into the lighter guy being in legit programs. He did a lot with that program, of course, with Razor Ramon. I almost went Scott Hall, but I feel like someone will throw him in there a bone.
Yeah,
I don't know if Sean Waltman's ever going to get in there as an individual, even though that apparently was discussed once, but they gave him the two programs there with DX and the NWO. Just fit those groups more than anybody else. He was those personalities. He's the only guy ever to hold the light heavyweight and cruiserweight titles simultaneously. And WWE doesn't even give him credit for it. They put up those articles on the guys who have the belts simultaneously, and they ignore him like it didn't happen. It happened.
Y'all give him his
I
props,
saw
you
it.
cowards.
Yeah, I saw it. It happened. It went down. Obviously, he's had some personal demons involved with his life, but he's also a great dude. If you listen to him on any interview, he's maybe one of the most knowledgeable dudes about wrestling history out there.
Very true.
And he was the measuring stick. You came in, you had a match with him. If it was no good, you're out. If it was good, you had a chance. So I actually remember that when he was put in for the second time, because a lot of multi-time Hall of Famers, he's the only one that's a multi-time Hall of Famer not in as an individual at all. And somebody tried to tweet and they mentioned Kevin Nash in there about, oh, this is a great picture of all these Hall of Famers. And it was the Kliq picture. And, and also your Make-A-Wish kid with Sean Waltman in there too. And Big Sexy just ran over him and talked about what I just talked about.
Oh, yeah. Big Sexy.
So, yeah, I'm gonna go Sean Waltman, and you can put it in there as 1, 2, 3 Kid, as 6, as X-Pac, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, we got him in there.
I was most fan of X-Pac, but he even made Shane McMahon look good in a match before Shane McMahon got good in matches.
You're not.
He helped Shane McMahon before Shane
The
McMahon was able to
measuring
do it on his own.
You
He
said
was
it
basically, yeah. So I think he's very, very underrated. I don't know if he's ever going to get it in as an individual, even though he should, based on some guys that are freaking in. I mean, there's some guys with worse individual resumes in that thing. And I know you don't want to make him a 3-time Hall of Famer, but that's your own problem. Like, that's not my problem. That's not X-Pac's problem. He does deserve it on his own, but I'm going to go Sean Waltman here.
No, that's a great selection, man. Like
No, it's not, brother. No, it's not, man. I demand a recount, brother.
Stop
You
the count.
sons of gun bitches. Oh, you keep leaving me out. That's right. I wanted to use the bad word, man.
Sons of guns, bitches.
You go off on
Don't
this
you
long
say it.
vacation, man. Nobody tells me, brother. I'm just locked up in the closet. Just
Hey,
drinking.
brother, you can't
Fabuloso.
cut the mustard.
I don't even know what to do right now, brother. I'm in there drinking Fabuloso, man. Trying to stay alive. You sons of bitches left me here, man. Nobody told me nothing. And then when the garage door opened, man, I fully expected to be getting my invitation, man. I said, great. We got somebody in here besides these 2 chocolate chips, man.
Oh,
They're going to put me in the Hall of Fame, brother.
Oh, man.
Hey, Hulk, if you stop short, Eric Bischoff will go so far up your ass, you'll know who they had for breakfast.
No way, man. I'm walking behind him, brother. No way, man. He's paying for everything. I'm broker than a convict, man. I just squandered all that bread. Somehow Linda got her claws on it, brother.
Yeah.
I hate that bitch, man. But anyway, brother,
Hey.
she sucks, man. No,
He had to spend some money for his son who almost killed someone.
she's legit trash, brother. Anyway,
Who cost you more money, Linda or the son that almost killed someone?
Asking the hard questions,
Nick?
Asti.
Nick, remember that? No one wants to talk about that. And remember that
he did crash
happened.
up my Viper, man. I was really pissed about that, brother. It's my damn Viper. But that's just something else that Linda didn't get in the divorce, man. So that's fine. You know what? That's fine.
And then Linda started dating a guy who looked like Hulk Hogan's, right arm 30 years earlier.
And then I started dating. Anyway,
The lookalike of his daughter, yes. It happened.
What do you want, Hulk?
Yeah.
Why are you
I
bothering?
want to get in the Hall of Fame, brother. But if I can't get in the Hall, man,
If you knew more than 3 moves, we could put you in. Learn a 4th move.
Well, have you seen the tape, brother?
From Japan?
No.
3 moves work for you. Why you need to learn a 4th, I guess.
Wait. Did the Japan tape come out, brother?
You're talking about the
Oh,
other tape.
talking about completely different
I
tape.
was
Yeah.
talking about wrestling.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
talking about a different
No,
kind of
no.
wrestling. I
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
I don't know if you got to open up the whole can of tricks in there either.
I said something. No, I was being gross.
Yeah, I mean, you told Howard Stern you didn't get to do what you really like to do.
That's just for Howie, man. I'm already in that Hall of Fame.
Howie?
Anyway, man, I just came on, man, to just create some chaos. I'm getting out of here, man. This is my theme song. I'm out.
Oh, turn that
I'll let y'all later, man.
off.
All right, that's Hulk Hogan, ladies and gentlemen.
That's something they want you to forget about, is they're trying
Hulk
to
Hogan.
appreciate him back in. Yeah. Okay.
Hulk Hogan.
You left
Folks.
him locked up in the garage.
I completely forgot he was here,
for
bro. I'm sorry.
3.5 weeks.
Hey, man, it's just he's
got
got the
all
red,
these,
white, and
man.
blue.
Kelly, I'm not
running through-
surprised that your tag partner here is heel turning on you, because you left him not only to hang out with your dad, but then the week earlier, did you leave him for my wedding? I mean, it's a lot of.
I did.
Yeah, see, he
did.
probably didn't appreciate that.
I
Yeah.
sure did.
Yeah.
Yep.
I appreciate that, though.
Man,
You know, I mean,
We
Hulk's
got
got
lucky,
the red,
though.
white, and blue running through his veins, man. You know, so
We got lucky. It's probably because Asti's here. Because he's normally way more belligerent than that. He felt like he had a comrade in the room.
Okay.
Something.
yeah. See, I don't know if that's the bigger insult though. See, you know,
It might be because I called him comrade, and he definitely ain't Russian. We know that. And he was
Oh
so
my
pissed off
gosh.
on Nikita Koloff going into Hall of
Oh
Fame.
man. Oh man.
oh,
Wow.
oh, so, I guess that just leaves my final question. We won't be doing a game. We won't be doing a 3-man weave, or because you know, I mean, I could come up with a question, but I don't want to. I want to know this. I want to know, guys, who to you had the best heel or face turn in real life? Well, as real as Hollywood could be, or you know, show business or whatever.
Okay, I got one.
All right, go for it.
All right, LeBron.
Ooh.
When he left the Cavs initially, this is the
Ooh.
Northeast Ohio, Akron, hometown boy, drafted there, chosen one, wanted to do it for them, took him to a finals, even though it was him and the Funky Bunch, one of the worst teams ever to be to a finals. That should be a plus on his resume, not a negative. Gets
Talk
him there in
about
07.
actions, Jesus.
Yeah. And then you get the decision, not even just that he left, because people leave all the time, but he left his hometown. They hadn't won at that point. It was the Cleveland City curse with no title for any team since '64. And he does it with the decision. And you get that first year when he loses to the Mavs where he's still trying to be nice. He doesn't know what to do. And then you basically hear the interviews from Dwayne Wade admitting this, that he basically just said, I'm going to embrace the heel. I'm going to embrace the hate.
Mm-hmm.
And the 2012 Heat, when they disbanded a couple years later, that was a Heat crew that they relished being the heel. And yeah, Kevin Durant and others have kind of done the same thing and embraced being hated, but they did it first, and there were batteries thrown at them. This is not the 1980s or the 60s or this another country. This is the United
This
States
isn't
of
Smoky
America.
Mountain Wrestling.
This is Midwest, and we're talking mid 2010s, and they're getting batteries thrown at them, and that's not Santa Claus who's getting hit. So I'm going to say LeBron. He might not have liked it at first, but he did a legit heel turn. He would then later do a face turn, of course, later on when he would go back and break the curse and win one for Cleveland. They don't care nowadays with the Lakers. But at that point, that was legit heel turn, legit hate, like serious hate. I don't think he could have went back to Cleveland and walked a dark alley at midnight at that point.
No.
So
Think about you
gonna say
smelly
LeBron.
Cleveland marks. As a Michigander, I'd like to let you know that the state of Ohio sucks.
It does.
It is a speed trap.
All flat. Yeah.
It's all flat.
I'm not impressed by anybody driving there.
And
All
as a
flat.
Michigander, you are literally beneath me. So
It does suck there.
suck on that. Everybody hates your state.
You got some
you
okay
know,
golf courses, but yeah.
Cleveland had, LeBron and Bone Thugs in harmony, and that's all you ever gave us.
And Jim Brown. I mean, let's be real.
Sure. What have you done for me lately, dog? Like,
Yeah, seriously. It's been a while. It's been a while, Jim.
Yeah, Ohio, go fuck yourselves
Yeah.
with a Buckeye.
Not even just Cleveland, all of Ohio.
No,
they-
especially the rest of Ohio.
I
Rest
can
of
get
Ohio.
behind Ohio State. Fuck Ohio State.
Man, listen. I'll go burn that fucker to the ground. Anyway, you're literally beneath me, Ohio. You suck. I tell you to do better, but you can't.
Okay.
Yeah. There we go. I feel good about
I
that.
almost went Tiger, but he's still got so many fans like that. I don't think he was hated by some for the whole sex scandal and that whole
Hey,
shit, but
man. Hey.
there was so much else going on.
You know,
LeBron was the
hey.
legit heel turn.
Hey, man.
I always been a Tiger fan, so I'm gonna go LeBron.
Hey, Tiger, you got beat up. You got what you have. I don't get it, but all right. I'm gonna go legit babyface turn. I'm going with the one, the only Bob Ross. if you never
Okay.
heard the history of one Bob Ross, he wasn't always flexing the fro. He
No
was
way.
He was a legit drill sergeant, and the people he trained were like, "Dog, this guy sucks." All right, Bob Ross, who probably went by some other name, Sergeant Robert.
Yeah, Bob Ross is not a drill sergeant name. You can't be
Yeah,
Bob
it's
Ross.
not. It's not at all.
Can't be
And
Bob
so, yeah, Sergeant Ross though, like that does sound like a dickhead, right?
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, he had the buzz cut, and I think,
I gotta see a picture of this. I gotta see a picture.
yeah, I mean, look it up. But maybe I'll do it.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it exists, but
Because that can't be a quick Google search. When you get Bob Ross, you're getting the afro. Like that's not coming up immediately.
Right.
21 now.
Let me see, Bob Ross, drill sergeant.
There-
Okay,
there
if you
he
type
is.
in drill, you definitely get sergeant after that for Bob Ross. Famous veteran Bob Ross, military.com. Born Robert Norman Ross
Wow.
from Orlando, Florida. So I don't think
Ooh.
that could be any less of a badass location.
Norman Ross, dog, like that. Yeah, that's a drill sergeant. Yeah.
But he's from Orlando, boy band capital of the world there. Like there's no one from Orlando beaten. Like I don't want to get beat up by someone named from Orlando. Like I'm not.
They
like-
bought that life.
Yeah, like like
Dear
I
Orlando,
need to be some
don't
from
go fuck
somewhere else.
yourself. Please leave us alone. But just so it was like one day he's there and he's just like, what am I doing, dog? He essentially just has like he's just like soul searching.
Yeah.
The most baby face of ways to turn baby face. No event that I can think of. He didn't like witness somebody be struck down, as a military personnel.
Right.
It was like,
Yeah.
dog, am I an asshole? Which is
Maybe you
the
are.
realest way to ever like just turn face to where it's just like, wait a minute. Is this what people see? And just like genuinely want to make a change and grow your hair out and like permit
Paint
to get a
happy trees.
fro.
And be one of the most
And
duplicated Halloween costumes ever.
fam, and
What I
to
thought
be
you were gonna say.
like, yeah, true. It's the least problematic fro. It's like the one
Yeah.
that white folks can wear without worry about backlash.
I could
Like,
put together if I
I'm
didn't.
Bob Ross. I'm Bob Ross.
If I didn't cut my hair for a year or something, I think I could put that together. I got-
But yeah, just
maybe
that
with
that
some perm.
super baby face feeding squirrels with little bottles and shit. Like he's
Question: does anyone have another heel to face that's maybe more known? Because I love that one, but I thought that was hard to like I can do a lot of faces to heels. You could even do Justin Timberlake for some people from face to heel.
Oh yeah.
But like it's hard to think of heel meaning hate it first to then face and outside of wrestling and pop, because you got to be famous at one point, so you're famous for just being hated. I feel like that's harder. I couldn't think of as many people. You got me with another one.
That would be tough. But if I had to do one more, I'd probably go Don Lemon, who just like was
Okay.
Yeah, because it was just like he had some views and opinions at first that,
I don't know if he's loved now though, but I mean, maybe.
Well, there
He's
are people that are
polarizing
just
now,
like,
I think.
Yeah, before he was just in the doghouse, but then he had some opinions and he said some things to where it was like, all right, well maybe. But yeah, that's definitely harder to go.
Was there ever a time that Donald
with a
Trump was a face? That's the only one I'm thinking of, just because obviously he was still a heel way back, but he was in Home Alone, like maybe.
Apprentice.
Wait,
era,
was he a
maybe.
face then?
No, I feel like he
still
was-
firing
That was the
people.
closest he came to being.
I
a
feel
face.
like he was really I think he was trying to channel Vince. A lot of stuff that he does, I'm
Yeah.
like, he's just trying to be Vince.
I think honestly, I think he would not. I think I even heard him do that. I think he would admit George Steinbrenner and Vince. He's all about
Yeah.
giving dap to and trying to take something from. But I guess if he was ever a face, because there might have been a brief period, then that would be the all timer. But I don't.
Yeah.
I was trying to think if he
I don't
ever
think
was
so.
a
I mean,
face.
he got a lot of shout outs just from being rich. Like rappers were always talking about being rich like Trump or whatever. Like Raekwon did it twice in Incarcerated Scarface.
Yes,
is
he did.
what he's,
He did.
But you roll like Trump, you get your meat lump. But that was like before talking about becoming the.
Or maybe
um,
David Stern.
yeah.
Maybe David, because I mean,
Eh, If you knew,
I mean,
you
there's
knew.
people that's trying to turn George W. Bush. It's
I think
like,
he's kind of a face now, to be honest with you. Yeah, I think the Obamas have taken him in. Basically, Michelle Obama loves him. I
Michelle
think
loves
he's a face now. I would hang out with George W. Bush, have a beer or two. If I'm going to pick a president that I want to have a beer with, I feel like George W. might be my pick. I think he's a face right now as we're speaking.
Yeah, somebody said that he having George W. Bush as the president was like having the guy who arranges the drinking games arrange the entire party. And he's like, no. He shines on drinking games. Like he shouldn't be like calling.
Yeah, if you ever saw the movie Vice, that's
he
kind of
shouldn't be ordering the food.
the Dick Cheney film. That's kind of what they basically made him like. Yeah, I think he's a face now. So I guess at one point he might have been a heel. Maybe Kanye West is another one to bring up, just in terms of like a roller coaster ride of face to heel to face.
Kanye was going to be my answer from face to heel.
Okay.
So that was going to be my answer.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, that's
I
okay.
had to rip you off and be a heel in the broadcast.
It's okay. I'm not surprised you did that. But I was going to say heel to face before he passed away. I'd say Kobe for sure. I feel like everybody at one point.
He might have been a heel at one point, yeah, when he was going through the scandal and the allegations.
Those early LA years, and then probably after he came out with the championships is when things started to turn, and then especially with the retirement, he got all the
and people kind of liked Shaq more during that rivalry just because his personality. So okay, that actually is a real good one.
Yeah, so
might even be another one like that. Who I always was a fan of his, but Michael Jackson might be another one, because there was a while where a lot of people weren't with him because they believed some things. But once he died, that whole contingent shut up. I mean, they're still out there a little bit on Twitter, but it's not nearly out. Like Nancy Grace isn't bringing it up anymore on TV every 2 days. So maybe that.
Oh yeah, whatever.
There are some people that once they die, they just get appreciated.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Nancy doesn't give anybody.
They did it.
Nancy Grace owes her career to Michael Jackson, Scott Peterson. And basically, yes, if you're accused of something, you're immediately guilty. I hate Nancy Grace personally. She is against everything that anybody who cares about the justice system should believe in.
Especially if you're a man, bro. And I mean,
remember when she was on someone's show and she was talking about dead wrestlers and brought up Owen or something about like DDP outed her or something? Like she was she was on something. I'm probably slandering what happened.
That was not cool. Let me look it up real quick
that was when they were like trying to talk about all the wrestlers dying off.
It was right after the Benoit thing. It was like they're gonna be
God.
I think it was right after Benoit, because they were talking about how a lot of wrestlers, the steroids, and they become And then she read a list and brought
she creamed her jeans around that time. It was like, okay, relax, because she's just a murder suicide by a wrestler. Like I was
she was on that lot. Yeah, but Larry King beat her ass in terms of covering that.
Couldn't wait.
Larry King definitely won the day in terms of covering that for sure.
Yeah, but
yeah, she was it was a big thing with her. She, especially after Warrior died, is when she was popping off saying stuff.
Oh my God, come on.
Oh, again? I thought it was before that, but
I mean, she was on Wrestlers before, but that was the last time I think that.
Lady, there is nobody on earth that can make Ultimate Warrior do or not do what he wants to not do or do. So
that's another one, though. I feel like he was a heel for a while and just kind of forgotten, and no fans really liked him. And then he came back and then died, and it's just like, okay, let me do all these docs, let me appreciate him, let me learn the history. And he's getting
he's getting the heat again because of the A&E biography was so negative on him again. So now he's getting a little heat again.
He's a fucking dick, bro. I'm sorry, dog. Like some people were what they were, dog, and like you don't have to.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not actively.
Although some of those, the only thing I can say in defense is some of those, and this is what Bischoff said. Some of those docs, they told the people in the docs this is going to be a puff piece, and then they slammed them with how they cut the edit. Like Bischoff literally says he was lied to on the Macho Man doc on how they were going to do it. Like that's not cool.
Yeah, they didn't do Macho any favors.
I don't care who it is or how bad they are. Like if you tell someone this is going to be a good doc and you want to get their takes on something and then you lie and then you spin it and you edit it out, like that's not cool. They didn't sign up to be in that doc. Like
that's dirty marking.
Yeah, that's what happened there. Yeah.
Yeah, man. But
think we did it. Oh, I dropped out. I'm okay. I'm
Oh
still
yeah,
here.
so you have Kanye though, right?
Yeah, I got Kanye.
All right.
Okay, you don't have another one since I took Kanye from you before.
No, I thought really hard about that. So thanks a lot, Mike Asti. Thanks a
Okay.
lot.
Well, I mean, and I feel like a lot of that happens with
Kanye's a good
wrestlers.
one. Kanye's a good one.
I mean, and some of it makes as much sense as I don't know. I think once we start talking about like all lives matter ass wrestlers, then it's like, come on, guys.
Yeah,
But
there's a lot of them out there.
yeah. Well, I mean, Jericho was doing he was doing way too much that night.
Jericho.
Yeah, he was like chasing down
Space
people
Mountain.
saying Black Lives Matters and was all lives matter. It's like
Troll.
Chris,
Definition
take your
of troll.
glasses off, have some warm ginger ale, and take your ass to sleep, Grandpa.
Mm.
I met Jericho. He's somebody.
How long ago did you meet him?
3-4 years ago. When I was with the Trib. He came by and do an interview for something, and I got a picture. He looked like he was ready to. He looked like so pissed in the picture with me, and I think I was half asleep. Yeah.
Yeah, that
He didn't cut a
like
promo
him.
on me. He didn't make fun of me. He actually was nice. We didn't really get the gimmick Jericho,
Yeah.
but
Mhm.
he was. He wore a shirt that said, what did it say?
Oh no.
I think it said like, "This ain't no fucking disco" or something like that. Was the T-shirt he has on?
Oh, you're so badass, bro.
It was just a funny T-shirt. No, he wasn't really a badass. Honestly, when I met him, he was real down to earth.
That's cool. It is.
Oh man.
Oh,
Handsome Bane.
what up though?
Well, we're going to get out of here, I think. So
I think so.
This was fun, guys.
yeah, we're going to let you talk here in a second. But Handsome Bane always likes to send the marks home with something to keep them
Okay.
happy and safe and warm.
Maybe I should give these marks some homework. Here you go. Here's some homework. After you finish this, you should go and check out. We should do this again sometimes. Presents Great Sexpectations.
Hey, I know that show.
So if you want to go in there and learn something about some girls, there's one on that show by the name of Kit Kat Chinetti. They'll be watching.
this show.
How do they feel about Right to Censor?
Cat would not
Boy.
like Right to Censor at all.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, Kat's over there with the Mark Rob and our very own B Hyphen,
That's me.
and they will be talking about Sex and the City.
And the city. Not in
And the City. See?
Always say
Never
sex.
watched an episode of it, knew enough about it to hang. But yeah, you talk about things that are kind of problematic, hella problematic, or burn it all down. We would burn you down, you sweaty marks. We would just we'd put you on a fire, and we burn you at the stake. But
How do we get away with this?
I'm just saying that's what we would do.
Oh,
but
would. Okay.
we're here
Perfect.
now, so make yourself useful. Go listen to Great Sexpectations. Learn something about them girls, and then maybe somebody will play with maybe you get some real feet pics. There you go. Somebody's giving you something to work towards, like your goddamn dating sims that you're so into.
Homework by
But,
Handsome Bane.
There you go, dorks. Because life doesn't work like a dating sim. You don't give a girl a teddy bear and then she says that she's going to hold your hand. Doesn't always work like that. You kind of have to be handsome or at least, personable.
Buzzsaw,
Yeah.
where can the people find you at, bro?
Okay. Well, they can tune in and listen to the House Room Buzzsaw show, which is a part of the B Hyphen podcast group right there. So for sure, you can find the House Room Buzzsaw show on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, all there. You can search Howitzer, search Buzzsaw. You can Google search me, as I say on the show. If you can't find me on a Google search, you're just not trying hard enough. And then a lot what I do in the Pittsburgh media market for sure as well. So at Mike Asti 11, it's all there and linked up all there on Twitter at Mike Asti 11. And go there at your own risk. But yeah, for the promotion that I'll give on this show, that's part of the B Hyphen podcast group, for the Howitzer and Buzzsaw show, we got a new one out the other day actually that's up there that Kellen's promoting.
Talking about the playoffs. Shout out to
talking-
Melisette too, man. Welcome
Yeah.
back, Melisette. Happy to have you back at
Hey.
full power, almost full power. We'll say 85% because we know what you're dealing with. So glad to have you back at it though. Asti, it's been great though, bro.
Absolutely. Yeah, I have to
Do
this again at some
sometime.
point, or yeah, we didn't do the WrestleMania thing. I guess was that last year or was that
We did
this
that.
year?
We did that last year. I didn't do
We did,
any
yeah.
WrestleMania preview because I actually had Aaliyah had a meet that weekend, so
Okay.
it just
You again with this
happened.
family shit.
Yeah,
bro.
Leah and the meets. Every time I invite him somewhere, Leah had a meet. I mean, I'm believing she had a lot of meets, but I don't know if it's every weekend. But she didn't have a meet
See?
my wedding weekend, so at least that she didn't, or did she? And she had to take a back seat.
No, the season's
Okay.
over now, Asti. Dang.
Okay. All right.
Dang, man.
I'm glad we scaled around that because I guess we would have been not seeing you if she had a meet that weekend.
Nice.
She got win medals, man.
Oh man, hey, I'm all about it.
Hey,
I'm
for
all
real.
about it right now. Olympic trials. Hey, if she can do it big that way, I'm all about it.
You're like a
Definitely
champion.
impressed.
Yeah, that's my girl right there, styling like a
Yeah.
champion. Our secretaries, provided by Handsome Bane, will be seeing you marks out, and yeah, that's how the Rasslecast is done when we're all here. And now I can go back to not talking to Handsome Bane.
Yeah, put the Suplex City shirt on. I did this for you. I never wear this shirt.